Welcome back, everyone. My name is Patrick. You're watching the Oilers Rundown. Well, it was a very busy day in oil country today, even a few unexpected things coming down the pipe, so it's going to be a big video. Let's get right to it. Let's start with the big waiver news of the day. The Vegas Golden Knights have claimed Raphael Lavoie off waivers. Everyone else on waivers for the Oilers successfully cleared, and they were assigned to Bakersfield. I mentioned yesterday that a fresh start for Lavoie might be for the best, but a trade was obviously the far more preferable solution. The Oilers didn't give him a spot to break in, and he was likely relying on injuries for another crack at the lineup. The Oilers clearly gambled that they could keep Lavoie through waivers, and it's another bet they ended up losing. Looking back on the Ken Holland draft era, Brendan Clack notes, with Raphael Lavoie gone, the Oilers only have one sole survivor draft pick from Ken Holland's tenure from the first two rounds since 2019, and that is Bo Akey. Philip Broberg, Raphael Lavoie, Dylan Holloway, Xavier Bourgault, and Reed Schaefer are all gone. Ryan Lotzberg of Heavy Hockey adds, Lavoie's departure means there are no longer any Ken Holland draft picks that have played NHL games for the Oilers left in the organization. Although not all his fault, and some good assets were moved in the Mattias Ekholm deal, it's a spotty track record for Ken Holland and his staff. Next up, the Oilers made a few roster moves in preparation for submitting their opening day roster. The Oilers announced they have signed prospect Cameron Wright to a one-year, two-way contract with an AAV of $952,000. Wright picked up 12 goals and 9 assists in 48 games played with the Condors last season. The Oilers also announced they have recalled Matt Savoie from Bakersfield. I'll have more on Savoie in a moment, but the expectation is that Wright and Savoie will be assigned to Bakersfield tomorrow, and the Oilers will officially sign PTO defenseman Travis Dermott. As Daniel Nugent-Bowman of The Athletic explains, having Matt Savoie on the season-opening roster gives the Oilers a performance bonus LTIR pool of $1 million. That means if they're in LTIR and they need to recall him, he'd count for $886,666 against the cap, rather than $1,886,666. As I noted yesterday, we pretty much knew the Oilers' opening day roster, but the lineup on Wednesday may show up in a slightly different configuration. Head coach Chris Knoblauch swapped Jeff Skinner and Matthias Janmark in practice today, giving us a lineup that features McDavid, Hyman, and Nuge on the top line, Draisaitl, Arvidsson, and Janmark on the second line, Henrique, Brown, and Skinner on the third line, and Ryan, Perry, and Podkolzin on the fourth line. On defense, Ekholm and Bouchard, Nurse and Emberson, and Travis Dermott rotated with Brett Kulak and Troy Stetcher in the third pairing. And the Oilers will of course have Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard in goal. Chris Knoblauch said he made the change with Skinner and Janmark to see a different look and to give the team 3 scoring lines. I imagine the combos will go back and forth, depending on the competition and situation. With all that said, here's the official Oilers opening day roster submission and report, courtesy of Puckpedia. They state, the Oilers have called up Matt Savoie and signed Cameron Wright for $952,000. When Wright's contract is registered tomorrow, the Oilers will have $53 of cap space. They will then put Evander Kane on long-term injured reserve and have a cap capture of $53 from Optimal. However, Wright's contract was not registered today, so the official opening roster has $952,000 of cap space, with Kane not on long-term injured reserve. Well, that's our roster, guys. It gets really convoluted with all the cap space and everything like that, so if you want more information, I encourage you to go over to Puckpedia. They'll have better explanations than I can give you in this video, but basically the gist of what you need to know: Cameron Wright was signed today, Matt Savoie was recalled, both of them probably going to Bakersfield tomorrow. Travis Dermott probably getting his contract tomorrow, likely 1 year, $775,000. The Oilers will be accruing cap space towards the trade deadline. They'll be able to add a player in the $4 to $5 million range, I believe, so probably their top 4 right shot D. They can exceed the cap by Evander Kane's long-term injured reserve amount, which is around $5 million. So they have some room to do things if they want to do things. We know the defense is a little bit sketchy still at this point, so the Oilers may go for that top 4 right shot D sooner rather than later. But let's see what happens here and how the opening of the season goes for the Edmonton Oilers. So that's basically the latest, guys. Let me know your thoughts on Losing Raphael Lavoie on the waiver wire, I thought he was going to clear personally, but he's gone now. It's been a bad summer for the Oilers, losing young prospects, Philip Broberg, Dylan Holloway, Raphael Lavoie, all out the door. So the Oilers definitely have some work to do. They did bring in Matt Savoy, drafted Sam O'Reilly, so Roby Orventi, another guy coming in. So some steps in the right direction for the Edmonton Oilers, but it still sucks to lose another prospect like Raphael Lavoie, especially for nothing on the waiver wire. So like I said, let me know your thoughts on all of today's events in the comment section below. If this is your first visit to the channel and you like what you see, please consider liking and subscribing for all the latest Oilers content. You've been watching the Oilers Fanatic. Thanks for being a fan.